Right back here at the Forbidden Zone, no issues along the way, so we can head up to this massive door and take a step inside.
Attention visitors! Combat experiment in progress. Please put on your goggles and take your rad-X now. The X-42 giant Robo-Scorpion is alive! Awaken my pet! Initiate your search and destroy protocol in the name of all that is Mobius!
Where is it? Where's the Robo-Scorpion? There's supposed to be a big Robo-Scorpion in the middle of the field. I don't know where it is, though. Let's use some terminals. Drone control. Test log. Nice. Target drone effectiveness. Activate target drones.
It looks like the target drones got activated and... Oh, how cute! They're engaging the X-42 giant Robo-Scorpion. Let's see the shrapnel fly.
I don't see a giant Robo-Scorpion. I don't know what's going on here exactly. I'm wondering if the randomizer does not work with the giant Robo-Scorpion. That would be highly embarrassing. Okay. They've moved up to the center podium to fight the Robo-Scorpion. The Robo-Scorpion, which is not here. So that's good. I'm gonna have to get the sonic emitter for this. Because I think sonic emitter is the only way for us to win this at this point. Is through hacking. Power regulation. Backup generator. Cool. Activate backup generator. Yes. Ow. We take a little bit of damage, but that's fine. We have to do that a couple of times, I think. And the targeting drones are just standing around. This is a very anticlimactic fight. I guess I'm gonna go this way. There's supposed to be a scorpion here. I guess we'll just ignore it. What is happening? Take down that force field. And I thought there's something I could do in all these rooms. But no, this is just an extra equipment room. There's a bunch of, like, free stuff in this fight. Because this is supposed to be a big fight where you're supposed to use a lot of things. Doesn't seem to be the case right now, honestly. I'll take some axes. Okay. I know we want to go to that room. I know that's an important room. I think that's the self-destruct room. Which we can actually use because my science is ridiculous. It might also be the only way to win this fight. Since there's no giant Robo-Scorpion here. I think Mobius has gone incredibly insane on this occasion. Has decided he doesn't need a giant Robo-Scorpion. I wonder. It just occurred to me. What's our current quest? Did I mess up the... No, I'm on the right part of the quest. Yeah, I'll hack this real quick. There we go. There were only 2 passwords left, so that was an easy one. Alter target parameters. They should shoot the giant Robo-Scorpion. They're not. Not that the turrets can actually do anything. Because apparently this is a turret. It wasn't going to do anything, so I'll just kill it. Oh, I have to go all the way around? Oh, come on. Don't die. Okay, cool. Yep, this seems like a fight. This is a boss fight, alright. Oh, one of the targeting drones was just Mr. House. That's good to see. We got another one of these. We get a free lair. Let's see. I don't know why I'm bothering with the ammo boxes. Ooh, a thing. Hey, that's the auto recording. Oh, there is something else we need to find for the biological research station. That's good to know. Over here. This is the one. This might be our only chance to fix this DLC. Let's see. Very hard emergency shutdown terminal. Be with you guys in just a second after I hack this. There we go. Yeah, very hard terminals are pretty easy just because there's very few password options. Emergency shutdown procedure log. Initiate emergency shutdown.
This is Mobius, Dr. Mobius. We're initiating some kind of emergency test shutdown. In 5, 4, as in forbidden, 3, as in tree, 2, as in 2 protest, 1 as in none. Oh look, the emergency overload is initiating.
And the giant Robo-Scorpion has been destroyed. We did it. I don't know what that was. That's such a weird glitch, but okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So D8, reroll an 8. 3, which is 1, 2, 3 guns. Finally, our skills are looking to go in the right direction. And I'll count these real quick. 28, reroll 29 or above. 8. Commando, which is okay. And then we'll get another perk in just a second. And now it's 27, reroll 28 or above. 7. 5, 6, 7. Second rank of toughness. Very nice. Okay. Now, I think there's something useful on the Robo-Scorpion's body. Ooh, I got Shotgun Surgeon and Cowboy. And we're no longer well rested, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. I'm just gonna loot the Robo-Scorpion where it's supposed to be. And see, like, if there's anything to loot. I don't see anything to loot. Okay. I think its body has useful stuff on it, but never mind. Guess we don't get that. Anyways, we'll just head right up here and confront Dr. Mobius and an old friend. And very ironically, he actually exists in his own little copy of the think tank, which is very fun. But what I'm going to do is actually take off my armor, because we won't need our armor for this fight. Instead, the naughty nightwear will do nicely, because we can now get to speech 1. I'm sorry, what? But I thought our speech was... Did I... Speech 84. Why did our speech go down? I'm confused. Anyways, I'm gonna go over here real quick. Just because I'm curious what is in here. I don't think we need speech 100 for this DLC. And even if we do, I can get speech 100. But yeah, I'm just curious if there's anything in these rooms, because I can't quite remember. There's an axe. There's some, like, fusion cells. drained, obviously. Ooh, another lair. We've gotten so many of those today, like, we don't really need that many. Oh, it was empty, of course it was. Yeah, I want to check the other side of the room first. And obviously I want to talk to Mobius, too. Because Mobius is perhaps one of the greatest characters in this DLC, just because of the revelation that we get in talking to him in just a moment. He's got some toasters around, because obviously Mobius made the sink, and thus, like, made the toasters. Specifically the toaster, the evil one, that wants to kill all their toasters. And obviously, Mentats, if you're looking for some of those, you can find a couple in here. Just a few. You might be able to, you know, pop up your supply a little bit. And last door here, what have we got? Bunch of desks, more Psycho, Scientist Scrubs, pretty valuable. But yeah, enough of that. Let's talk to good old Dr. Mobius. Hello, my friend.
Hmm? Oh, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing, you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. Little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely.
Is that better?
Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. That's old age for you. Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would see the wrong things. The flying tortoises were the worst. Would you care for a mentat?
Thanks.
I love mentats. Delicious and smarty. I have all sorts of amazingly science-erific thoughts and ideas when those chalky talents are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though, especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot out my chassis. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations, although I've somewhat lost track of where they start and end.
You aren't exactly what I was expecting.
Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical Mobius is better than I.
Why did you steal my brain?
Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. Anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition.
Why is that a problem?
I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I have very good reasons for almost everything I do. Even if I forget them occasionally. Although I feel this one is especially important. Oh, well.
I was curious about some things.
Oh, curiosity. I experience that less now that I know everything. Oh, maybe it was when I found out some unpleasant answers.
Repair 75, I can't fix your monitor, but if you're getting ghost reception, I can fix that.
The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Why, I can save my computing power for other perceptual impossibilities. Please be my guest. The receptor is there, and the side-switching wobbly bob, just turn that. Good, good, better. Oh, yes, that feels wonderful. This is even better than my afternoon Mentats break.
Can you tell me about your Robo-Scorpions? Actually, you don't seem aggressive. Why broadcast threats to the think tank?
Oh, I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. Had to work myself up to it. Not usually violent, except when I am. Then, watch out! So many chems, such varieties. Whenever I take Mentats, I can feel my entire chassis breathe like a big spherical lung. As for the Psycho, sometimes get the chem dispositories in my tank all switched up. Go in the wrong tube. Still, served its purpose.
I was curious about some things.
I find things curious as well. Go on.
Can you tell me about your Robo-Scorpions?
Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came to me after these rather large scorpions kept coming in from the desert, like poisonous frosting. How scary, I thought. But they had survived when nothing else had. Perfect candidates for improvement as a reward for their tenacity. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes and data-drained computers and acted as bullhorns? Then I made them bigger. Then I thought about custard. I do so love custard. Or was it mustard? Mustard custard. I miss sugars and salts.
Wait, it sounds like you built the Robo-Scorpions, issued threats to keep the think tank occupied.
Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. Some reason for it. Ethics or, science? You and your brain are quite alike. I'm sure it knows the raisins better than I do.
Everything you've told me doesn't add up. Your plan, even your name, Mobius.
Dr. Mobius. Rather catchy, isn't it? It's my name, and my new name overwrote the old one. This name's as real as you or I, although I believe your brain expressed similar incredulity at the nature of such an appellation. Someone's been watching too many old-world science fiction movies, it said. I believe it meant me. I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasies of planets and robots and all that is forbidden. As for the name I was born with, like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget them, take on new names. It enforces the recursion loop in our perception programming.
You reprogrammed their names as part of recursion loop? What, to trap their processors?
Now, trap is a rather harsh word, like excrement. Not an inappropriate word, but still rather harsh. But, yes, I did take some liberties with their programming. It's all right, they don't remember. I certainly didn't until you said trap, and then I said excrement, and then...
Why did you trap them?
The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. They keep testing things. They would have found a way to disarm it. I suspect I have Plan C's in place, but I may have coded myself to forget them, just in case. Probably very dangerous, lethal, or worse. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied here. Or as you like to say, trapped. I prefer to have several Plan Bs in case the A's fail.
Intelligence of 7, I can realize that Klein, Mobius, O is a circle, it's an infinity symbol, they're all loops. I get it.
Oh, You figured it out. No pun intended. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in the first place. Ouroboros, Klein, they have all forgotten themselves. And not only themselves, but the world, sense of time and history. All that is left is what's here. I reprogrammed their chronometers, geometers, and cartography programs. This is now their world, here, Big Mountain. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. They were my friends, but sometimes they would take things too far. And the world isn't ready for that kind of too-far thing-taking. That's my professional opinion, anyway. And I am told I was once quite professional.
Minor detail, but a snake devouring its own tail is Ouroboros, not Ouroboros.
Really? It is so unlike me to make an error in anything I do.
Let's see. If you lobotomize the think tank, why terrorize them?
Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. That I didn't change. Without something to distract them, make them afraid, they would simply deduce what had happened. And when they start deucing it up, then you came along, the final variable solved. They saw that their world was larger than they perceived. Bacteria, finally able to see its host.
But there must have been other signs of a larger world.
There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions, but you are the one who dialed back their monitor micro-magnifiers. You were irrefutable proof that there was a world outside. And then there was the whole brain fiasco, which forced me to take steps. See, your brain had a special kind of wrinkle, a uniquity that they had never thought to try in all their countless escape attempts.
The bullet that went into my brain, Dog Metal tried to patch me up, but, or I can use, let's see, a cranial injury from the attack outside, good springs. I'm gonna use that one because it'll actually give me experience points.
Yes, very good. I should have Mentats ingest you instead of the other way around. Mentats. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case of bullet headitis. But it was enough for the auto dock in the sink to change its programming to fix the problem. And the brain extraction technology for once worked. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't possess. With that knowledge, the procedure can be reversed. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial cells into hosts to slip past the radar fence. I'm sure of it. And once they're off the reservation...
So if I don't get my brain back in my head, I can't leave ever?
Oh no. I doubt your brain would be so unreasonable. It already knows the trick of it, you see. Doesn't need to be in a host body at all. If you become friends or exist in an uneasy truce with weapons aimed at each other, it would unlock the fence for you. Well, once the think tank was dealt with, of course, your brain is a responsible sort. Doesn't want mad scientists running around everywhere.
Intelligence of 7, Klein said that you had the idea to get the 3 technologies after your broadcast. Coincidence?
I consider coincidence to be profanity, along with the words astrology, herbal tea, and luck. So watch it, potty mouth. My threat broadcast is designed to instill and install fear. And along with the emotional download, other data rides the fear carrier wave. It prompted them to focus on retrieving those technologies and bring them to attack me. And coincidentally, pardon my language, all those technologies are needed to put a brain, your brain, back into its skull properly.
What is the purpose of the technologies?
The X2 antenna can be used to focus your alpha wave frequency thought patterns. The sneaky suit? Why, it houses a cardiac regulator. And the sonic sound wave projecto emitter was never intended as a weapon. It was a medicinal vertebrae pulse desensitizer. In short, brains, a heart, and courage. Spine. I think there was a story once where a band of murderous thugs sought these things.
Amazing.
They had them all the time in the story. Didn't stop them from murdering to get them. And it won't stop the think tank either.
Was there any other data transmitted in your threat broadcast?
Yes, my overly aggressive cammed up broadcast was designed to keep reinforcing the forget, fear, rinse, and repeat program. Oh, and the get me the things to castrate your only possible escape attempt. But I couldn't delete you or your arrival any more than I could the other visitors. Only so much science can do when you started talking to them. You're really quite difficult to ignore, you know. It's because you're, well, rather intriguing, if you'll forgive an old brain for saying so.
But the think tank downloaded the schematics, not the items. They can rebuild them.
Oh, that means my plan is a total failure. That is unfortunate.
Whoops.
Oh well, at least I tried.
I was curious about some things.
Yes, this is getting interesting. You are just filled with these little slices of curiosity, aren't you?
And I think... I don't want to kill him. I think I can still choose a different option.
Oh, intriguing. I've never been killed before. Although, after that time I got that phlegmy discharge in my biogel, I wished I had been. Well, if there's going to be killing, I defer to your expertise in this matter. How should we begin? Engineering viruses, canceratic beams, atomics, electrocutioning? Or should I summon my minions? Yes, my minions.
What minions?
Whoa, have they not constructed themselves yet? That's a bit premature of me. The Robo-Scorpions, of course. They can assemble themselves from floor panels and parts scattered about. Quite inventive. Never really know when they might suddenly appear. Minions, destroy this intruder! Or perhaps make it more dramatic. Minions, to me! Oh yes, that's quite a bit better.
Whoops, I did it wrong. I'm gonna reload, because
I attack you. Oh,
I gotta fix this. Be just a second. I gotta skip through that whole conversation again. Give me just a moment to find the right way forward. Here we go. I need my brain back.
Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes.
Time for me to go. Goodbye.
Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat then. Goodbye. Please mind the equations on the floor.
There we go. I worked my way out of that. That was a mistake. And in this tube is my brain. I just realized I do have Daniel's hat, which means my speech goes up to 99. We're just a little short of 100, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. Hello, brain.
Well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again?
Why does my brain sound so masculine?
Ah, well, as to that, you'd be surprised how hard a feminine-sounding voice modulator is to find in the Forbidden Zone. It's not as though brain-sustaining life support tanks grow on trees. I had to take what I could get.
Are you my brain?
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
There's no need to be sarcastic. Me to your own brain is a slightly odd event.
Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you?
No. I've been busy.
Oh yes, I rather expect you have. You must have been swamped, you poor dear. Why don't you relax and put your feet up? I've just been traumatically scooped out of my body and plugged into this jar. That's all. But you've been busy.
Listen, you're my... why are you such a dick?
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment?
Oh, come on. That stuff's fun.
Fun? Fun? Is tetanus fun? Is rickets? What about sepsis, huh? Enjoy that, do we? The things you do with our body are suicidally dangerous, and if you could silence your glandular impulses, you would hear me screaming at you!
Don't you want to be reunited? I thought you'd be happy to get back in my head.
I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you.
But what about the good things? What about a cool breeze on your cheek, the smell of food, love?
Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat. Oozing hormones.
Speech 75, isn't it just as true that you only feel this way because you're lacking those hormones?
I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it?
So we're an impasse. You can't feel what I feel, and I can't think the way you think.
Indeed. Quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we resolve it?
Let's see. I think we have to trust each other and acknowledge that we aren't complete if we're separated.
I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us.
So what do you say, Brain? Join me for some wild adventures?
Well, I suppose you've convinced me well enough. I'll rejoin your body if that's your final decision. Unfortunately, before we get to that stage of the proceedings, we have a problem. Even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share.
Then let's go make them share. Come on, Brain, it's stomping time.
Oh, lovely. We've reached the mindless violence portion of the program. Tell me, what exactly are you, and I use the word loosely, planning?
Let's just say violence is the last resort of the civilized man, and I'm feeling mighty uncivil. Wait, no, I want to talk to them. I wanted to talk to them. I guess I'll say unarmed.
Not much of one for the high-tech approach, are we? Well, I suppose we...
I hope I don't have to fight the think tank now. If the think tank won't hold up their bargain, we'll make them. Let's go.
Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming out of its jar. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Our brain added. Excellent. I'm just curious if I talk to Mobius again.
Oh, I see you and your brain reached a compromise. How pleasant. I hypothesized after the indignant frequencies my receptors had recepted, such a partnership-based conclusion would be low on the likely scale.
My brain told me the think tank needs to be stopped. Can you help?
If I recall, I had a plan that was working, whatever it was. I don't think it reached fruition. I would recall fruit if it had happened. I wasn't trying to kill them, just keep them out of trouble. What was that plan? Blast. I probably wrote it down on the floor somewhere.
Let's see. What was the plan you had?
Something ingenious and needlessly complicated, I expect. I may have already told you and forgotten it. I forgot I had forgotten pencils until one day I found one. Spent days studying its purpose before my memory circuit kicked in. Felt quite silly.
Any tactics I can use it to attack them? Anything I could do to stop that doesn't require violence?
Well, you could try and appeal to their humanity. That's a tired cliche. And really, when they were humans, they weren't very good humans.
I'd like to make the effort.
Well, there's many things they have forgotten, sitting in their bowls. Friendship, the thrill of discovery. Love, masturbation, the usual. Much like your brain, I am certain there is something you can spark within each of them. Memories, hormones. A wise man once said, "The eyes do more than see. Make them see, if you can. Or, if not, you can always make them succumb to fear." It certainly worked for me, for a time. Then you came along, and bravery and/or desperation trumped that little idea. Back to the drawing board, I suppose. Or is this the end? Hard to tell.
Scare them? How?
Oh, tell them I'm still alive. We had a nice chat, and we agree on a few things. That's true, isn't it? Or you could kill me and lie about it. Either way, it would be interesting. And if you are partial to lying and deception, well, you could tell them a ludicrous lie. The more over the top, the better. That's my experience. They're more than a little gullible. Better make it convincing, though. Or it'll be the dissection table and vivisectors for you. And if you speak of me, please try and make me look good. I am Dr. Mobius, after all. Not some lab assistant teacher's aide.
And that's all we need from Dr. Mobius. For now. Time for me to go. Goodbye.
Indeed. The goodbye part of our...
And there we go. We've taken care of Dr. Mobius. Found out that he is not only a good guy, or rather not a bad guy, but is a good guy and has been trying to help this whole time. We've also talked to our brain and discovered what we need to do to get it on side and how to take care of the think tank once and for all. Which means in just a moment we'll head over there and finish things. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Before we do that, though, okay. I said I was going to go and do that now. I lied. The reason being, I swear there's like one more thing we have to actually do for the sink before we complete all those quests. So I'm going to try and do that. All we should have to do now is grab the biological samples, which I just missed the packet that's right here. Maybe? Here. There it is. And now, that's that one complete. Return the samples to the think tank. That's got to be the last thing we have to do for the sink, right? Let's try that. There are enemies nearby, so I can't try that yet. Oh, right, the ambush. Okay, let's finally deal with the ambush. There we go. Ow. That's better. Right, I'm gonna grab some things and then go back up to the think tank. I should be able to just drop some things off and complete the quest.
You got some plans for me, don't you? Yeah, I can smell it all over you.
Receive my seed. Process seed.
Soon the day will be at hand.
And that's the last.
I will forth at the head of my armies, and we will crush our foes and hear the weeping of their small appliances.
Oh, and then blind diode.
What's the hat?
Sound wave file.
Right on.
Gabriel's bark and Robo-Scorpion. There we go. And is that everything for the sink? I think so. Let's see if there's any last-minute quests it decides to throw at us. I haven't gotten any. They go to quests. Yeah, all that's left is Old World Blues.
Oh, please, please tell me you brought me some coffee cups.
I'm just gonna do some quick stuff around the sink, and then we're gonna go talk to the think tank one last time. Alright, so I just used the smart light, the sexy lights again, and I am up to speech 100. That's with the buff off of them, my clothing increases, and no drugs or anything like that, which means 100 speech. Let's go speak to the think tank. Dr. Klein awaits. Make sure you're prepared to finish this once and for all.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
Let's see. I found my brain. Now you and I are going to settle things.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
I'm not handing my brain over. There's some things we should discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
I could lie to him and say that I have the brain of Mobius, but that's not the best ending, I'm pretty sure. I think I want to go for... Maybe you should confer with your colleagues first.
Nonsense. Confer, colleagues. Those are two words I do not recognize.
Dr. Klein, I must intersect. Please, do not harm the lobotomite.
I'm not going to harm it. I'm going to dissect it until it's dead. Why the sudden intersection, Dala?
I cannot stand a sweet breathing organism, breathing in and out to suddenly not breathe. We must keep it alive. For study. Slow study.
Dala, these vocalized pauses are unlike you. What do you care?
Klein,
You know, this lobotomite, it's a great sounding board. You respect ideology, right? This one's, well, it's got good ideas.
Silence, Dr. O. This is a think tank decision. Save your objections until after I have decided our course of action.
You know what, Klein? Stick a straw in your tank and suck yourself. Long and deep. And my name is Zero. Yeah, a big, fat zero with a slash through it.
Yeah.
The slash as a designator. Why, that is brilliant. But how did you...
The lobotomite taught me that. Taught me a name is more than, that I should take pride in things. Like names. And... You know what? Forget it, Klein. I hate you. And your theory of brachial beam oscillation? The Chinese had it first, you copycat.
How dare you? Brachial beam oscillation was solely my discovery. I expressly told you that and deleted all evidence to the contrary. It's 2-8. Why are you acting like this? You've never refused to commit necessary surgery before. And this lobotomite needs its surgery. A noble speech, but there is no room in my vocabulators for friend and lobotomite in the same sentence. The very concept, revolting. Perhaps you are irradiated with camaraderie radiation. We have chems for that. We can save you from your emotional addiction.
If I may, I feel as if I must be the voice of reason here. This lobotomite is much like us. Regarding even animals and pets as nothing more than avenues to promote science. There is good here. Instead of ending its life on the table, we should prolong its suffering in the name of science. Like good old Gabe, the finest of lab specimens.
Why am I even listening to you fools? Enough of this mutinous chorus. If there's a word I hate, it's mutiny. And the word jism, which never made any sense to me. It's ridiculous putting j and zm together like that. Nonsense! I count as 5. Like the mighty human hand I once had, with its 5 penises clenched in a fist.
Let's see. I could conclude it that way. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Yeah, I don't need to bring up Mobius. I don't need in either of these decisions. Let's do sounds to me like your math is wrong, and the odds aren't good.
Nonsense! The mathematics of this situation are on our side, lobotomite. I believe... No, wait. Carry the 2, then... If this were a democracy, I would be concerned. We are too scientific for that. So just surrender.
It's not a democracy, it's a research facility, and over half your colleagues dispute your findings.
You dare use logic against me?
I do. Here's the deal. I'm not going to surrender. You are.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
Let's see. Yeah, so I have 2 options now, which is you can still do that here quietly for me, or I can bring the Mojave this world to you. You'll be safe and you'll still be able to experiment. I think this is technically the evil option. I need to check this real quick. Give me just a moment. Alright, as far as I could find, there's actually no difference in those endings. It's other things that affect the endings you get. So I'm going to do this option. I can bring the Mojave, this world, to you. You'll be safe here, and you'll still be able to experiment.
For you? And for science? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
And with that, we conclude Old World Blues. Our last objective is to leave the think tank. I'm just gonna have a quick... No, I don't need to chat with them. But I like the red lighting now because of how things were supposed to end in some big confrontation, and instead, we resolved it nice and peacefully, for science. And now we get a nice long cutscene, which I'm going to be as quiet as possible during. Apologies if my microphone does anything to interrupt it. But yeah, all we have to do is step into the sink, and we get the ending cutscene.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The Sync Central Intelligence Unit was impressed by the amount of exploration the courier had undertaken. Facilities believed lost, destroyed, or ones that had simply gotten up and walked to new locations had been rediscovered by its intrepid new master. Internally, the artificial personality debated as to whether it preferred the old management to the new, and concluded that the courier's thorough approach to research and investigation was admirable and worthy of its respect.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was Old World blues, and New World hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The Sync sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
It's not true. We've lost the brainless perk. We gained the big-brained perk, which means our brain is back in your body, but some of the advanced technologies remain. Head still cannot be crippled. Huge. Only 10% more resistant to addiction now. That's fine. That's like a total of 60% without Logan's Loophole, so... Surprisingly, your damage threshold is improved by 10%, minimum of +1 DT. Very powerful upgrade. You've acquired the Big Mountain Transportal Ponder. It's capable of transporting you, and you alone, between the Mojave Wasteland and Big Mountain. To return to the Mojave, or to go back to Big Mountain from the Mojave, simply equip the Transportal Ponder, as you would any weapon. Pull the trigger, and away you'll go. Note that it won't work in interiors or in combat situations, and is totally incapable of harming your enemies. Good to know. And we get that nice little celebration of everything. I love that. That if you actually put in the effort to bring the Sync back to life, you get that wonderful little, excitement from everybody in the think tank. That's great. Here's the original spine. Now able to put it back. Yeah, so I'm just gonna check these real quick, because obviously I can put the, old parts back in, which gives me a new bonus. And I think... getting your spine back you want to do, but your heart there's no point in getting back. I think that's the way it works. But I'll do that off screen. Might show the benefits I get instead afterwards. But yeah, after, what's this been, like 10 to 11 episodes, with some pretty long ones included in that, we have finally brought an end to Old World Blues, the first of the 4 major DLC campaigns in New Vegas, which is pretty awesome. I love this DLC. This is the one I've played the most. Maybe next time we'll start... I think next time we gotta return to the Mojave for a little bit. Work on some things there. Maybe get some of the gang back together and celebrate the fact we can now increase to a higher level. Maybe we'll take on one of the bigger mods.
Are you flirting with the Ice Queen again? Ugh, I'm so much more fun.
Maybe take on a different DLC. But that's for next time, guys. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Remember to be nice to other people and to be awesome out there, and I'll see you in the next one.